Hey guys and girls, this is Chefboyardrew. Alright, so I'm in the kitchen cooking again, and time to whip up some kale. Not the nay-nay, but whip up some kale. You can whip your nay-nay. Ha ha. No, there's too much corny jokes. But corny jokes aside, I have some vegetables that I'm going to be preparing. Today I'm going to be making some kale. So I'm going to make kale with sauteed onions and garlic and extra virgin olive oil. About to show you the ingredients in a second. Alright, let's go. Alright, so here's the ingredients. I have a bag of kale. So this is Walmart brand organic green kale. It says washed and ready to eat, but I still like to wash it myself anyway, just in case. So what I'm going to do is have this whole bag of kale. Then I'm also going to have some onions and garlic. So that's 1, 2, 3 onions. Then you have extra virgin olive oil. And you have garlic. Let's see, I'm also going to get sea salt. Yeah, that should be enough salt. So I'm have sea salt. It's a simple ingredient, but it's going to be good. It's all about the sequence and how you prepare it. All right, let's get it started. All right. So first thing I'm gonna do, let's see, get this right here. All right. First thing I'm gonna do, chop up my onions. So I like to do this the quickest way possible. So the first thing I like to do is chop up my onions. And actually, the first thing I like to do is actually wash my kale off, because I want to take my time when washing the kale. That way I can not rush it, because that's you want your food to be clean. Then the next thing I like to do, I like to peel my onion, and then I like to you peel the onion because you don't want the taste of the skin in there, and it's on the outside of the onion. And the outside of the onion is what's going to protect the onion from the dirt from being underground. So take off that skin. Then what you want to do is chop the onions. Alright, I would like to chop the onion. I chop the onion in half. I have the end is going to be in the middle, so I chop it in half from the middle. And then, see how I got this part right here? I peel the outside. Sometimes you can peel the second outer layer too, if you want to do that too. Also going to be some film. You don't want that film. Take the film off. And then you go ahead and keep on chopping. Once I chop the onion is originally chopped in half, and then once I chop it in from up to down this way, take the middle out. Then I like to chop it from the side. So chop it north to south. Then you switch it and chop it north to south. And then the grooves of the onion ends up letting the onion be chopped in small diced cubes. Alright, so I know it'd be a long video if I showed you the video of me chopping all the onions. So what I'm going to do is just chop all the onions. Then I'll show you how to chop the garlic. Alright, see you in a few seconds. All great things must come to an end. Alas, the onion journey is complete. But this is what the next thing I'm gonna do is start peeling this garlic. Now, when I peel the garlic, what I can do is I can go ahead and get my olive oil and I can start frying it on the stove. So let me show you what I got to do. All right. So let's see, I got my extra virgin olive oil. So the first thing I want to do is, well, get this pan out, this cover out the way. But next thing I'm gonna do is grab one of these spoon holders. Now, spoon holders are good. If you don't have a spoon holder, you can get a small plate. This holds your spoon. That way you don't have to have a place to sit it. Hence the name of the spoon holder. So, so what you're gonna want to do is get you a tablespoon measurement. Now, see, this for me. I like to do a tablespoon measurement because I like to know how much fat and oil is going into my food, my fat, my proteins, carbs. I try to measure things out. So let's do this. All right. So I'm gonna sit this right here. All right. So I'm gonna sit this right here. And see, I'm gonna put, for the 3 onions, so the 3 large onions, I'm gonna put about, let me see. For the 3 large onions, I'm gonna put about 4 to 6 tablespoons of oil. So that's gonna make the onions, that's gonna fry the onions up. So, so what that's gonna do is, if you don't put enough oil, then the onion's gonna have that the harsh flavor. But the more oil you put in them, the creamier the onions are gonna become. So let's do 1. Let's do 2. Let's do 3. Let's do 4. All right. Start out with 4 tablespoons. Let me grab this. All right. And what you're gonna want to do is turn the oven to medium heat. So I like to turn it to about 4.5, because the highest I could turn it to is about an 8. So I like to turn it to about a 4.5, because see, when I have a small amount of onions, then I can do medium heat. But the larger amount of onions that I get, since I want to fry them all up, then I need to apply more heat for the larger amount of onions. Because if I do less heat, if I do the same amount of heat that I do for a small amount of onions, it's like a half an onion, then it's not going to cook as good. It's going to be steaming. It's not going to fry. So what I'm going to do, I have this. I'm going to have the olive oil is going to be heating up, and while the olive oil is heating up, then that's when I go ahead and get my garlic. Now let me show you what you do with the garlic. All right, let's see. So what you want to do with the garlic is, let's say you have the whole head of garlic. You peel off 1 clove. And what I like to do is chip off a little piece off the end. And then I go ahead and from the end, I can peel off the whole piece of garlic. Now see how you have the whole piece of garlic now? Then from there, I can go ahead and, just like the onion, I just slice it. I just slice it from long ways. So since I sliced it long ways, you see these lines in the garlic. And then once I slice it long ways, then I slice it across. So across, 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 across. Not like crisscross, not like the old school rapping. This is not a rapping video. No, it's not a rapping video. No. But like this is chopping the garlic. So chop it up, chop it up, chop it up, chop the screws, chop it up, bring it back. Oh yeah. You got the dance. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, don't do this. Do not dance while you have a knife in your hand. Don't do that. Alright, so what you want to do is repeat the same process, but you can do it in a faster way. So for this amount of onions, because I have, this is the amount of onions that I have. So for that amount of onions, what I like to do is, if the onions cover about this much space, I like to have the garlic cover up 1/8 of the space of the amount of onions, because that usually is a good amount of flavor. Any less than 1/8 of space, so the pile of garlic I have is going to be 1/8 of the size of the pile of onions that I have, and other vegetables if I include those. So if I have less than 1/8 of space covering up, then usually it's not enough garlic. It's not going to taste the garlic flavor. But if I have more garlic, then it's going to be a lot of garlic, and it might be too much of a garlic flavor. Too much of a garlic flavor. So just repeat the process. See how fast this stuff comes off. So you chop the end, then peel off the side. Less than 10 seconds. Chop it up, chop it up, chop, 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 chop it up, chop, 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 chop it up, chop, chop, chop it up. Hey. Chop it up like you're in Texas. Chop it up. Oh, like you're a wizard. You got some hexes. Oh, got the flow. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, yeah. Oh man. All right. So then keep on chopping it up. What I would suggest is when you get the garlic, peel a few pieces of garlic and then chop them up. That way you can have an estimate. You don't want to peel too much garlic, because once you peel it, you better chop it. Because when you peel garlic, then when you chop garlic, it releases a chemical called allicin. And allicin is what helps you fight colds and helps you boost your immune system. So as soon as you chop the garlic, that's when the allicin level is the highest. But if you chop garlic and you let it sit for like days or months, then the allicin decreases. So that means that level is not as potent as it was before. That's why when you have fresh garlic, it's a lot more beneficial for your health than garlic that's been sitting in a jar, or sitting in a can, or sitting in like that's already pre-cut. All right. See right here how I have the garlic, you have the onions. The garlic and the onions. That looks like it's not even about 1/8. It might be about 1/15 of it. I know, 1/13 of it. So what I want to do is do about maybe a couple more pieces of garlic. A couple more cloves, I mean. Also, meanwhile, watch your oil, because your oil, just pay attention. Like, pay attention to your oil. Pay attention to that. All right, because that's gonna. You don't want the oil to burn. You don't want to have any kind of. You don't want to spend any extra money trying to buy a new apartment or buy a new house because your house burned down because you forgot about the oil and stuff started catching on fire. Downhill effect, because your house catches on fire, you can't cook anymore, and well, it's one of your problems. But oil looks like it's getting pretty good, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and all right, got the oil. All right. All right. Putting these onions in here. Let's see. Oh yeah. These onions. The onions are the secret to the kale. So without the onions, the kale can't do its thing. The kale can't shine without the onions. The kale can't be divine without its onions. Well, all jokes aside, the onions will give a lot of flavor to like vegetables. It's gonna really enhance your vegetables, especially kale. So this is the onions. I got the garlic. I got the sea salt. So what I'm gonna do, add a little bit more oil. So I'm gonna add about 2 extra tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Now I'm gonna add the sea salt. So after a while, you start to get to estimate. This is the sea salt that you have to grind. So after a while, you get to estimate how many twists is how much salt. So I do about 40 twists, and that fills most of the cap of salt. So I'll just count to 40 when I'm doing this. It's a good workout. It's better than a shake weight. All right, should be good. Open it above the onions. Shake it around. All right. See how you have the salt. You need the salt for the onions. right. Let me go back when you add the kale. I'm gonna go right back. All right, so what I want to do next is see along the way I taste the onions in a bowl, how the onions are tasting. Don't want that spoon to touch anything else, so that way you can just put it in there. Get kale, put it in there. Then what you want to do is stir it around. So stir the onions and garlic around. Now it's going to wilt down. It's eventually going to wilt down. The steam from the pan is going to wilt down, and the kale is going to absorb the onions, the flavor for the onions, garlic, and the salt. I'm going to go to another take, show you what it looks like in a few minutes. So this is a quick checkpoint. This is most of the kale. Now this is the kale. I was just stirring and wilting. I didn't have to add any extra water, because you add extra water, then you have to add extra salt, so the water is going to water it down and dilute the flavor. So what I do, I just get the onions and the garlic, I add the kale, I stir it, I wilt it, and the kale, not only a little bit of water comes out of the kale to help cook everything, but also the kale has the opportunity to absorb the onions and the garlic, the flavor from the onions and the garlic going with the kale. And because I put the olive oil in the onions and the garlic and the salt, the onions almost taste like bacon. Well, they don't taste like bacon, but it's almost like a good bacon substitute. So this meal is vegan too. And also, let me show you some stats. This is the stats. Let me see. Nutrition facts. Only 40 calories per serving, 4 grams of protein, 6% of your iron daily value, 6% of your daily allotted amount of iron, 8% potassium, you get 10% calcium. It's in one serving. Usually I eat probably about 2 servings. So this is good. This is a lot of nutrients. This is a good food. And also kale is also a food that is it has a lot of good vegetable nitrates. So vegetable nitrates are in foods like kale, celery, spinach, leafy greens like arugula. Vegetable nitrates are good nitrates. I'm gonna go into them. All right, vegetable nitrates are good nitrates. Vegetable nitrates are pretty much widen up your blood vessels. So the nitrates you normally hear about are bologna, like in bacon, salami. Those nitrates are bad. They aren't good for your blood vessels. But vegetable nitrates are good for your blood vessels. They help widen up your blood vessels, and they help give you more energy, and they also help give you more focus. So foods, vegetable nitrates, carrots have vegetable nitrates, kale, spinach, arugula, a lot of leafy greens like collard greens, turnip greens, they have vegetable nitrates. So good health benefit. Good to eat these kind of foods like before a workout too. That way you can naturally get more energy without having to take pre-workout. Now what you want to do is taste the kale. Taste the kale. If it's soft enough, you're done. Just leave it on the pot, turn it off, you're done. If it's not soft enough, then put the cover over it, turn it to 2, and let it simmer for 10, 20, maybe even 30 minutes if you want to make it like almost melt in your mouth. But right now, I'm gonna taste it and see how it is. All right, so I tasted the kale, and the kale's sweet. Now the kale is, I notice when I have organic kale, doesn't have to be Walmart, could be Aldi or another brand, but organic kale usually tastes a lot sweeter than non-organic kale. Usually non-organic kale sometimes has a bitter taste, and non-organic kale shouldn't have been sprayed with as much pesticides, hardly any pesticides, as opposed to, organic kale shouldn't be sprayed with pesticides. Should only be sprayed with maybe 0.01% pesticides. Non-organic kale usually is sprayed with pesticides, and usually the flavor is very different. So if you want to have great tasting kale, also look at your organic kale. Grab some organic produce if you have the extra money. And it's not much. You're just investing in your health. You might pay an extra $2 for the kale. All that's left to do is clean up. I'm wilting the kale at 2 on low heat for about, let's say, 5 minutes. Just clean up, wash your dishes, you all good. Hey, this is Chefboyardrew. Hope you enjoyed the video. These are really good healthy dishes that taste good too. Just because you eat healthy doesn't mean that the food has to taste like food that's waste. Well, that's not the right way, but just because you want to eat healthy, you know what I mean. Just because you eat healthy doesn't mean you have to have bad food. Like, that's a misconception. People think that a healthy food is supposed to taste nasty. The only way to eat healthy is to taste nasty. No, like, you can season your food with sea salt. You can season it with extra virgin olive oil. You can season it with garlic, fresh garlic, and make your food taste good. And olive oil is fat, but it's good fats. It's a monounsaturated fat. It's good for your cholesterol, lowers your bad cholesterol, and doesn't affect your good cholesterol. The sea salt has electrolytes. The kale has potassium, has electrolytes, has magnesium in it too. Doesn't show in the bag, but it has magnesium in it too. Has calcium, that's an electrolyte. It has protein. It has small amount of carbs, only 7 grams per serving. It's actually a good food. It's a superfood. A lot of foods are superfoods. When they say superfood, I think all the nutrition world should just trying to say is just eat healthier, eat more natural foods. Like, if you eat this kale is just kale. It's not kale with breadcrumbs and soybean oil and like 20 different seasonings and extra food starches and additives. It's just kale. So most foods that are just in their natural state, how where we were eating them back 50, 60 years ago, those are the healthier foods. The foods that haven't been touched by man too much. The foods that aren't GMO. GMO actually is like, a lot of times they put the genetically modified organism is the plant itself, because even from seed, from birth, the plant has the pesticide in its skin. So when a pesticide is in its skin, then doesn't matter how much you wash it, it's going to still have the pesticide in it. That's why I like to have organic. Organic's not completely natural, but it's usually 99% pesticide free. And let's see, GMO, it should say non-GMO on here. Let's see. Oh, I guess it doesn't. But it does say organic green kale, certified organic by Quality Assurance International. Well, and it says USDA organic. So we don't know how it's been handled, but I can tell by the flavor that this is fresh kale. So hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, follow. Chefboyardrew out.